Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 and it's live. My news up here at Desawe in Kanda. My name is Alfred Okanse.
And I'm Natalie Force. Let's get into the headlines for this evening. Police commanders asked to do whatever it takes to protect police personnel or facilities from attacks.
Also, this evening, we'll get you details of what's happening as we get into issues relating to high levels of extortion and bribery and illegal barriers causing businesses to divert to countries where from Tema, Burkina Faso transit trade corridor. Meanwhile, more illegal barriers continue to spring up on the corridor at night, as you can see on the screens.
Also in the bulletin this evening, EC chairperson to appear before Parliament next week.
Also, a deputy minister of finance hints of plans to compel commercial banks to reduce interest rates.
And glowing tributes to High Life legend Papa Kofi Yankson as family announces demise.
Coming up on an international front, while at the White House, Press Secretary Sean Spicer resigns.
In other stories this evening, reconstruction work has begun on the Nalerugu Metal Bridge in the East Mampruzi district of the Northern Region. Meanwhile, the Minister of Roads and Highways, Amwako Atta, has announced the construction of a concrete bridge in a year.
The metal bridge, which was constructed about 3 decades ago, was a temporary one. It, however, became permanent following failure to reconstruct the broken concrete bridge. After years of use, the facility collapsed following torrential rains. Some have also suggested heavy trucks plying the stretch might have contributed to the collapse. The situation has affected farming and other businesses in the past weeks. Watermelon farmers especially have lost their livelihoods as they are unable to cut their produce to the market. The arrival of the Bridge Engineering Department of the Ghana Highways Authority is expected to bring smiles to the faces of users of the bridge.
We are fully prepared. The director for bridges, for the past 2-3 days has organized his outfit. All the materials needed are here, and we are going to replace it as quickly as possible.
Though work had begun before the visit, the Roads and Highways Minister, Amwako Atta, revealed it is prudent for the ministry to visit the site following the collapse of the bridge. A Deputy Roads and Highways Minister, Anthony Kabo, and a Member of Parliament for the Nalerugu constituency, Hajia Alima Mahama, also visited the bridge to assess what government can do quickly.
A permanent solution must be found to it. This project is going to be treated as an emergency project. Wherever we have to get the money, we are going to get it, and make sure we fix this bridge.
The team visited the Upper East to assess the damage on the metal bridge in Garu. The bridges, when completed, will see the revival of businesses which have faced challenges in the past.
Well, prosecution in the case involving 5 Chinese nationals accused has also told the Accra High Court attempts to locate the supposed husband of Aisha Huan, the first accused person, has proven futile. The prosecutor told the court investigations have revealed the supposed husband possesses passports from 3 countries.
Aisha Huan and 4 others who are standing trial for engaging in illegal mining appeared in court, with the prosecution making some amendments to 2 counts on the charge sheet. Prosecution told the court efforts to reach the supposed husband of Aisha Huan, who she claims is a Ghanaian, has not been successful. The first prosecution witness out of the 6 who will be testifying against the 5 Chinese nationals completed his evidence in chief. Assistant Superintendent Ruben Ransford Abrobra told the court he could identify the accused persons because he led a team of 6 immigration officers to pursue them at the mining site at Bipotontin in the Amansi Central district of the Ashanti region. According to him, upon their arrival at the site, the Chinese nationals and their African counterparts took to their heels and were subsequently chased by the officers. The officer said when they were arrested and questioned, they indicated their passports were with Aisha Wan, whom they said was in Kumasi. Initial attempts to arrest Aisha Wan became a difficulty as he unleashed her dogs on the officers when they visited her residence. Aisha has been charged with undertaking small-scale mining operations and providing mining support services without valid registration. She has also been charged with the illegal employment of foreign nationals. The 4 other Chinese, Gao Jingjing, Lu Ginju, Hai Bin Gao and Zhang Xinping, have been charged with the disobedience of directives given under the Immigration Act 2000, Act 573.
The police administration has directed all commanders to do whatever it takes to protect police personnel or facilities from attacks. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Apietu, announced this at the passing out of 618 new general constables at the National Police Training School in Accra.
The Inspector General of Police again decried the recent targeted killing of personnel, describing it as senseless.
We have lost some of our finest and gallant officers in line of duty due to acts that can best be described as criminal and perpetrated by cowards.
He vowed to deal ruthlessly criminals engaged in this.
Let me sound a stern warning to all criminal-minded persons who think officers of the Ghana Police Service can be object of attacks to revise their notes.
David Asante Apietu also admonished the new 618 general constables not to allow anything to sway them away from the police mantra of service with integrity.
Let me remind the graduating recruits that an effective and efficient police officer must always be abreast with the contemporary issues on general knowledge and of its environment and involving policing tactics. I expect you to constantly read your prescribed books and continue to refer to them.
The well-attended passing out parade saw the recruit exhibit various military drills and marching, much to the admiration of all. General Constable Vincent Kofi McCarthy emerged the overall best recruit with 1,454 out of the 1,675 marks, whilst Benny Sade emerged the best marks person, having scored nearly 100% shot on target during the season.
My colleagues, youth out there, my advice is that in whatever they do, they should be hardworking, there should be discipline, and then I believe that God being so good, things will go right for them and then the whole country.
It wasn't easy at all, but I tried my best. I'll advise my colleague females that in every aspect of life, you have to put it in mind that you can do it, and you have to try your best to do it.
4 other constables received award for their outstanding performances in drill, discipline and child-friendly policing, which was for the first time taken as a full course in police training.
All right, so the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, SADA, is to begin processing and packaging maize and sorghum for export. The authority is rolling out the initiative after signing a 217,400 that's $1 agreement through the Ministry of Special Development Initiatives and the Chinese government here in Accra.
The agreement formed part of the deal the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, brokered on his trip to China some few weeks ago. Part of the agreement includes the Chinese government providing 16 agro-processing machines to be used by local farmers. 13 of the 16 machines would be used to process maize, while 2 go into processing soya beans. Currently, more than 10 of the agro-processing machines have been transported to the northern region to begin operations. A number of Ghanaians have also been trained on the use of the machines. The Chief Executive Officer of the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority, SADA, Charles Abugri, is confident quality cereals would be processed.
We should be seeing our maize flour, our sorghum flour, our soya flour being sold in a hygienic way, properly packaged in different quantities, serving different categories of society.
The Minister of Special Development Initiatives, Howard Kumsin, underscored government's commitment to roll out policies that will promote the country's development.
Government welcomes the work that SADA has done so far to develop a master plan to develop the North. Some of the projects in this master plan are part of government strategic projects that His Excellency the Vice President took with him to China.
The Chinese ambassador to Ghana, San Buan-hun, assured of a more strategic alliance between Ghana and China.
The Ghanaian government has launched the initiatives such as One District, One Factory, One Village, One Dam, and Planting for Food and Jobs. These have demonstrated the government's great attention on agricultural modernization.
Meanwhile, an agronomist, Dr. Abu Sakara, has called for adequate support for the One District, One Factory policy.
Often when you hear one district, one factory, everybody has this big imagination of a huge factory in a district. When you start on a smaller scale, the individual businesses are able to reach that curve where they can have profit a bit earlier. And that will promote other people to come in, and it gives you the time for those people who are going to feed it to also expand.
The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, has been summoned to appear before Parliament over accountability charges. Presenting the business statement on the floor, Majority Leader in Parliament, Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, said the EC boss will be in the House in respect of fees received from the media for coverage of the 2016 elections.
The issue of accreditation fees became a controversial subject ahead of the 2016 general elections. The Electoral Commission charged journalists before allowing them to cover the presidential and parliamentary elections at the various polling stations nationwide. Member of Parliament for Subin, Eugene Boache-Antwi, wants clarity on how much the Commission raised in fees for accreditation and how it was disbursed.
The committee has scheduled that the chairperson of the Electoral Commission attend upon the House Committee of the Whole to brief Parliament on the total amount collected from media representatives for covering the 2016 general elections, as well as the replacement of lost or misplaced voters' ID cards, and how these amounts have been applied.
Also to appear before Parliament is the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapaa, who is expected to brief the House on the fight against terrorism and government's next line of action on the 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees currently seeking asylum in Ghana.
The Minister for National Security is expected during the week to apprise the House at the Committee of the Whole on the matter of terrorism generally and on the 2 Guantanamo Bay detainees in the country. Honorable members will be informed in due course about the specific dates of the attendance of the ministers in the House.
In a related development, Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, has dismissed claims that government is the orchestrator of the petition filed against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei. Majority Leader said there is a lot of internal wranglings within the commission. He called on the parties involved to, as a matter of urgency, resolve the issues amicably.
Well, so this particular invitation to the Electoral Commission chair comes at a time when, indeed, she is fighting a petition seeking to impeach her from office over stated or alleged misconduct. But let's stay with this a bit. Professor Ransford Jampo is a director of Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon. He joins me via telephone to get a bit more on this. Prof, I thank you. Good evening to you. Now, it appears that the lenses of accountability has shifted very much on the Electoral Commission. This invitation by Parliament cannot be described as interference. I mean, considering the independence of the EC, can it?
Oh, certainly not. I mean, the EC itself over the years has been invited several times to appear at the Public Accounts Committee on several occasions, and so it can certainly not be referred to as interference. And certainly the fact that you have independent bodies in existence does not mean that they should also not be held to account by people's representative and all that. And so to the extent that they've been to the Public Accounts Committee themselves several occasions, I don't think this amounts to any form of interference. And we should be mindful of this, that in electoral or transitional democracies, countries that find themselves on that ladder always tend to preoccupy themselves with only the conduct of elections. Whether it is free or fair or not is not really the matter. But the moment you conduct elections, you are hailed. But as you try to progress, on the democratic ladder and to go forward in terms of democratic progression, then other issues beyond elections, also come to the fore. And so we shouldn't be surprised that all of a sudden there is a searchlight and scrutiny on bodies like the Electoral Commission. It is just normal. It shows that as a nation we are climbing higher the ladder of democratic progression. And so we should be expecting more of these accountability issues and mechanisms being activated to ensure that those who are entrusted with public offices are also, accountable to people.
But I mean, how is all this going to play out? I mean, I'm talking about this because we're 7 months after an election. You referred to the fact that they've appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, but this time around, it is the House of Parliament that is inviting her before the whole House. I mean, before all members of Parliament to account for how it expended, its monies, and then also the replacement of lost voter ID cards, how much it cost us as a nation. And this is 7 months after an election.
Yeah, but why does the EC exist? The EC exists because of the people. It exists to conduct elections for the people. And sovereignty resides with the people. The people are the ultimate repository of the sovereign power, of the land. And so the people's representatives have every right to summon you when they deem fit and to ask you to give account. And I don't think there is anything wrong with it at all. And in my view, it amounts to deepening democracy. I don't see it as an affront to the independence of the Electoral Commission at all. It is not an intimidating tactics. And in my view, to the extent that the whole House agree that this should be done, I think there is nothing wrong with respecting the call of the people.
Now, I'll get your focus or your opinion on this particular issue about the Special Prosecutor's Bill, which has hit a snag, of a sort, earlier today in Parliament because the Parliamentary Constitutional and Legal Committee raised issues of a breach of the procedure. And as a result, this is not going to go under a certificate of urgency, but it will go through the normal process. And already we know the expectation that is waiting for this Special Prosecutor's Office to be set. Does this delay impact in any way negatively on the speedy expectations we have of this Special Prosecutor's Office?
Well, if there has been the breach of procedure, well, I don't know, but who caused it? I mean, those who were in charge of these processes, didn't they know if you want to introduce something under certificate of urgency or something? I mean, I think there are processes that would have to be resorted to. Didn't they know about these processes? The point must be noted that people have also raised some issues and qualms about this whole issue of having an independent public prosecutor. Right. It's important that these issues that have been raised are also heard and examined carefully, because it's been argued that the only body in the state, provided by the Constitution that can prosecute is the Attorney General Department. You are trying to set up a body or an office that would run and be able to prosecute independently. That would have to require some form of constitutional amendment. If that is not going to be done, then it means this officer is going to operate under the fiat of the Attorney General. Right. How is it going to play out? Is it going to be, and is the officer going to be truly independent as we expect and all that? There's been several issues that have been raised. I'm sure the delay that we're going to go through because of this challenge should also open up the process of consultations and the processes of discussion, so that we are clear in our mind as a nation as to what we want, because you don't also want a situation where we hurriedly establish this office and then it plays a role just like the Attorney General. One of the reasons why you don't want the office is trying, the President campaign that office will be separated from that of the Attorney General, is that it oftentimes becomes difficult for Attorney General to prosecute people, particularly those from his own political party. And so you want an independent party officer who will look within the party and also look outside the party to be able to do this. But if it is going to happen that we are not going to amend the constitutional provision that affects regulate the functionings of the Attorney General, and this officer is going to operate under the under the fiat of the Attorney General, then he may end up having virtually the same thing, the same office like that of the Attorney General. It's important that we discuss this extensively and then give room or give hearing to those who have contrary views, so that at the end of the day, we really achieve what we want to achieve in terms of fighting corruption. We shouldn't be in a hurry at all. So if there are delays, I'm sure it opens an opportunity for more discussion about the proposal.
Great, Prof. I want to thank you very much for your time this evening.
Pleasure.
Grateful. Professor Ross Jampo is the Director of Center for European Studies in University of Ghana, Legon.
Certainly stay with us here on News 360 as we bring you the details of some 50 officers, custom officers who were interdicted at the Tema ports, and many other stories, especially news from the world of business with Parkus Yasari. Stay with us.
It's a freaky, funky, fantastic Friday. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. My name is Parkus Yasari, and to begin with, there is growing tension among clearing agents over delays in processing their documents following the interdiction of some 50 custom officers at the Tema port. So far, over 100 custom officers have been interdicted for various offences. My colleague Konga Kluche has been finding out more on this latest development.
Yes, there's the allegations that they were involved in not applying due diligence in the course of their duty. And as a result, the allegation also says that the state has lost an amount of money in revenue, and for that reason, it should appear before a committee of inquiry. Confirmed, indeed, 50 of my men, 50 custom officials of the GRA Custom Division have been interdicted.
A firm confirmation of a major shake-up at the port, an investigation that started as far back as 2012 into the activities of officers, especially at the compliance section of customs.
Some computations done, a certain amount of money came out that the state has lost so much. But whether that figure is a fair reflection of the amount actually lost remains a question that will come out following the investigations.
Initially, 15 officers were interdicted at the Preventive Service for allegedly aiding tax evasion and reducing duties in connivance with importers. Additionally, 19 persons were interdicted in connection with alleged fraud. The latest of the ongoing interdiction exercise involved some 81 custom officers who were interdicted on Monday. The first batch of the latest interdictions involves 31 officers comprising 17 females and 24 males. The second batch has the highest number of 50 officers consisting of 13 females and 37 males who reportedly diverted revenue belonging to the state. These remain allegations.
Obviously, morale will be down because at the time of interdiction, they are given 2/3 of their salary. For so long as the interdictions or investigations continue, that's right, they will continue to enjoy 2/3 of their salaries.
Work has been affected at the long room of the Customs Division in Tema.
Let us avoid the politics and do the right thing, because the importers are suffering. Let me tell you, for instance, they have given about 100 officers to go home. What are they doing that? It is the mandate of officers to comply, because politicians have made themselves superpowers. So whatever they say is what they do. So if they give the customs mandate to rule and do what their own thing, I think it will be better for the politicians to stay out of customs.
We know the CCR should be final authority because they are handling it. There are people at the CCR office. So when they give us the document, we should pay. When you come to compliance, the compliance officer will tell you that your value is so, they will go for another upliftment. So that is what we are facing. So it's bringing frustration here.
So the old ones in the ba, ebe had mumum, ebe from mumuma, and can mumuno and kebe to me at to asuma whereby and the jumano ebe con tem.
But as the committee works assiduously to unravel the mystery, they have only indicated their strongest determination to help the committee unravel the mystery behind the state losing millions of Ghana cedis as a result of these allegations. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Customs Division, Tema.
Loads of anger and frustration amongst clearing agents. The two other news now and local contractors are calling for legislation that will compel government to make payments within a stipulated time period or face sanctions. While the late payment of contracts, according to them, is impacting negatively on the fortunes of the local construction industry. Chairman of the AGI construction sector, Roxin Dobega, said the delay in payment for work done is adversely affecting the capacity of local contractors in the industry. He, however, wants a legislation to remove challenges that cause delays in the payment to contractors. Mr. Dobega said the problem was making it difficult for them to compete with their foreign counterparts.
There's a clause that compensates the contractor that should there be delays, normally the provision that standard conditions of contract makes is 28 days. So when one is pricing, one factors this 28 days in your pricing strategy. And the standard condition says that if after 28 days payment is not received, you are compensated by way of an interest on the delayed payment. Most clients are not ready to pay this interest. And most contractors in Ghana also are not using this window.
He also called for the establishment of a regulatory body known as the Construction Industry Development Authority, CIDA, which would champion the regulation and strategic development of the construction sector and formulation of regulations, standards and codes to guide practices and procedure. Now, one other challenge the players want addressed is the payment of bid securities, which they believe is locking up vital funds for development.
Sometimes you pay about 3% of the value. So if you have a project that costs about 10 million, for example, you're paying 3%. It is locked up for a period of, let's say, 6 months. That is the time within which your bid is valid, with a bid declaration form, which has become a standard practice in the developed jurisdictions. And that is a statement that says that if I put in the bid, I'm not coming back to withdraw it. If I withdraw it, I'll be banned for a certain number of years. So it's like a deterrent, the very purpose which the bid security would serve.
The Unilever Ghana Foundation has handed over 7 hygiene stations to some selected public basic schools in the Tema metropolis. The project, which has the support from Global Communities USAID and the Tema Metropolitan Directorate of Education, is expected to benefit several people in the area.
This comes at a time Ghana is ranked second in open defecation. Only 1 in 7 Ghanaians have access to toilet facilities and 2 out of 5 basic schools have such facilities. Addressing the gathering at the Tema Community 11 Basic School, the chairman of Unilever Ghana Foundation, Mr. Andrew Quayson, decried sanitation-related deaths among children.
We live in a world where over 2 million children under the age of 5 die each year from diarrhea and pneumonia. In fact, 1 child dies every 15 seconds from a diarrhea disease.
The managing director of Unilever also reaffirmed their readiness to reach out to the whole continent using their Lifebuoy soap to improve sanitation.
Sustainable living plan is to build a brighter future for Africa children. Build a brighter future for Africa children. Because we are in Ghana, that means build a brighter future for Ghana children.
A representative of Global Communities, Emefa, said the partnership with Unilever on putting up hygiene stations as a way of improving sanitation was strategic.
One of the main objectives is also to promote sanitation in schools. And then we realized that Unilever also had the same interest. So then we had a common goal. We had the expertise, we had what it takes to get this job done. And then Unilever also had the funds to get the project also running.
The occasion was graced by Temamancheni Ajay Kraku II, some staff of Unilever and Global Communities, government officials including a representative from the Ministry of Sanitation and officials from GES, community members, as well as pupils from beneficiary schools. The occasion was climaxed with the commissioning of the hygiene stations, hand-washing demonstration and the presentation of Lifebuoy soap to beneficiary schools.
Well, that's all for the very latest in business. Thanks for watching. My name is Parkwis Yesari. For more news, log on to our website, www.3news.com.
Time for all the sports action with me, Thierry Nyan, right here on News 360. We start off with this one, the Ghana Premier League Match Day 24. As you can see behind me, quite a number of fixtures to be played this particular weekend. Inter Allies will face Great Olympics in a Greater Accra Derby. Yeah, take note of that one. It's not Accra Derby, but a Greater Accra Derby. Inter Allies from Tema, Great Olympics from Accra, and that should be a great game. Liberty Professionals will also face Ash Gold. That will be at the Kaurindo Park in Danselman. Now, Ash Gold, remember, they have been on some decent run of form up until Match Day 23, where they lost to Elmina Sharks. Elmina Sharks themselves will be coming up against Bichem United. So maybe on the back of that particular victory, they will be able to scrape another one at home against the BA side. Bolga All-Stars, who are rock bottom of the Ghana Premier League, are also going to be taking on Brecum Chelsea, who are on quite a good run of form. So maybe the Bolga Bay side will be looking to make sure they are going to be drawing some inspiration from what they've been seeing with Brecum Chelsea thus far in the league, because they are sure bets for relegation. Accra Hearts of Oak will be coming up against Tema Youth, and that will be an entertaining game at Accra Sports Stadium. You should look out for some of the stars of these two teams on show on that day. Mediama Sporting Club will also be facing Diana Stars. Diana Stars, remember, they are battling Wafa for the top position of the Ghana Premier League, and they'll be looking to make sure they are able to at least steal all 3 points from Takwa. That is where they are going to be facing Mediama Sporting Club. And then Ebusua Dwarfs will also be coming up against the league champions, Wild All Stars, and that also promises to be another very, very good game in Cape Coast. Wild Stars are the champions. They have sacked their manager recently and are looking to make sure that they keep climbing. They won their last match day, and it gets even better for the Wa Bay side. That is if they are able to improve their away form. But let's move away from there. Let's go straight to some of the news. And Ghana International, Asamoah Gyan, has started training with Kayserispor in his quest to adapt to his new side in the pre-season. He joined his teammates to undergo some training drills, push-ups, runs, and rehearsed on tactics. Asamoah Gyan joined the Turkish Super League outfit earlier this month on a free transfer after his contract with Chinese side Shanghai SIPG did run out. So that is it with Asamoah Gyan. We'll be looking to see what exactly he will do in Turkey, and obviously we'll bring you all the subsequent developments on that story. All right, so away from the Black Stars captain, we go straight to some other news, and that would be Antonio Conte. That man has revealed something that may surprise many. Chelsea manager Conte has revealed the club made the decision to part ways with Diego Costa in January, following Costa's insistence on leaving the club to the Chinese Super League side, Tianjin Quanjian. The Spanish striker is keen on rejoining his former side, Atletico Madrid, after a difficult season under Conte, although he managed to score 20 goals in the Premier League.
I don't like to talk about players. Then they don't stay here. The only things that I can tell you that on January the situation, Costa situation, was very clear for the club, for him and his agent, and yeah, for me the question, the situation is closed.
Right, so that is it. But meanwhile, at Chelsea, Alvaro Morata has also been confirmed as a Premier League player, as a Chelsea player ultimately. He is going to be wearing the number 9 jersey for Antonio Conte's Chelsea next season. Away from football, let's do some weightlifting. And TV3's Ghana's Strongest Season 6 is now at the semi-final stage with 5 athletes remaining in the show so far, with the criteria of the show demanding that only 4 of these men will progress to the final of the competition. The final is slated to take place at Achimota Retail Mall on the 13th of August 2017. Now, this week's event is taking place at the Fadama cluster of schools on Saturday, 2 p.m. prompt. This week stands out to be one of the most packed weeks of all the episodes because these athletes will have to make sure they go through 4 grueling tasks to ensure they make it through to the final competition. It gets even tougher for all these men, with the commissioners ensuring that the weights are getting even tougher for all of these men. The athletes will compete for, to compete for the final will include the likes of Mustafa Ahen, Ahmed Boache, Damian Smith, Godfred Akobila, and Victor Ampofo. All right, so on that note, we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360. My name is Thierry Nyan. It was great coming your way, and thanks for watching. Natalie Fort and Alfredo Kante standing by to bring you some news after this.
All right, welcome back to News 360 here on TV3, live from our news hub here at Adesawe. Now, the Inspector General of Police, David Asantia Pietu, has carried out another reshuffle among senior officers of the Ghana Police Service. Director General of ICT, Dr. George Ekofo Dampare, has now been appointed Director General of Operations. He replaces COP Christian Teteyono, who has now been appointed Director General in charge of Special Duties. So, Director General Special Duties, COP Prosper Ablo, has been appointed the Director General Welfare. ACP Anthony Edo has also been appointed the Director General ICT. The changes takes immediate effect. That is the statement coming through.
We've got the very latest from the world of entertainment here on News 360 shortly. Stay with us. Entertainment news this evening, rather sad.
Really, really sad. He was one of the legendary musicians. Certainly. I love his songs, you know. Excellent
music. Beautiful, excellent tribute to Papa Yanks.
I love that song, yeah.
Well, Ghana's legendary high-life musician, Papa Yankson, has passed on at age 73. He died in his home in Dansoman in Accra on Friday, July 21, 2017, earlier today.
Prolific composer Benjamin Papa Kofi Yankson was born on June 22, 1944 at Winneba. He was discovered at a very tender age while singing at the funeral of a neighbor. He landed his first music contract after he performed at his mother's funeral. The Highlife great is remembered for his impressive exploits with the Western Diamonds Band. The multiple award-winning musician has over 15 albums to his credit with songs like Yaba, Show Your Love, his duet with Paulina Odro, Tenamenchen, was the toast of many. The legend is also remembered for mentoring many musicians.
And it's a sad news. He's one of the greatest, actually. His music will live on. You know, his writings will live on. He has a kid, so that his children too, who are equally talented, so they will actually take his place. But it's a loss.
He's a great composer. He has great vocals, even at his age.
The celebrated singer has, however, not been in the best of health conditions lately. In November 2016, he waged a comeback performing at the Bottles and Band concert in a wheelchair. The prolific composer was the recipient of the 2017 VGMA Lifetime Achievement Award. For helping sustain the High Life journey, TV3 received confirmation of the demise of the 73-year-old former band member of the Golden Nuggets on July 22. He left behind 6 children and a wife. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Yeah, even in his wheelchair,
performing,
he got it. You know, the voice was not affected by, you know, the circumstances that he found himself at the time. But meanwhile, Papa Youngson's eldest son, Silas Youngson, has been speaking exclusively to TV3's Western Regional correspondent, William Peters. Silas wants his dad to be giving a state burial.
It was just this morning, at exactly 9 o'clock, that mommy called me and told me about the death. Hey, it was a bad moment for me, very bad moment for me. What I can say is it was not well. It wasn't well. No, not yes. It was last year. Just last year that the sickness started. I will remember him through his music, and then what he has been teaching me. He taught me so many things. He even started teaching me those things. Me, I want our president to give him state burial. The man has done a lot for Ghana, and you know, and everybody knows. That's what I have to say. I'm also there.
Yeah, lovely.
Excellent.
You know, that song I was telling you about, you know, one of the songs he sang, that if you're a man, you go see your wife and your mother in a river, and the river is taking them away, which one will you save?
Difficult.
You know, for you, if you go see your husband and your father, which one will you save?
My husband and my father.
Who will you save?
I would feel extremely guilty, but my father?
You save your father and leave your husband?
No, my husband, because we are now starting. Okay, my husband. Hey. My father has lived long enough, I guess.
Yeah, there you are. Anyway,
what in your case?
I would have dived in and all of us.
Oh.
But thank you for staying with us here on TV3. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Ford. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Remember, news at 10 later tonight. We'll simulcast on 3FM 92.7. Next is Kashan. Have a wonderful weekend.